is such a special place. You can be from anywhere in the world and you'll be welcomed with open arms.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Breaking Bread. I'm your host Liam, sitting not opposite me but next to me.
I know, it's weird next to. Yeah,
it's normally opposite.
It's strange,
yeah.
It's opposite. I can't get used to this.
Yeah, no, I quite like it, you know.
Hello.
That's him. This is the podcast that takes you behind the scenes and introduces you to all the awesome people behind the most exciting food scene in the country. Obviously, Brum. Today's episode, we meet two legends. What do you call them?
I thought you'd forgot that. I was like, has he forgot what we're talking about?
I mean, I know. Jeez. Adam and Adam.
Adam and Adam could have the comedic double act.
Yeah.
This is the episode I laughed the most at, I think.
They were brilliant. They could have done without us. They could have just...
We could have just put the cameras on and walked out the room.
Yeah. So on this episode, there's a massive nostalgia hit. We hear about like 90s clubs and what Birmingham was like in the 90s, 2000s. Yeah. They go way back to then. Obviously, a little bit before our time. Get that.
Only a little bit, yeah.
Get that in there.
Only just.
Yeah. Before going on to get their own businesses in the hospitality scene, making a name for themselves, before taking on the legendary venues that is the Plough in Harborne. Everyone knows.
Incredible place.
And the Hare and Hounds in Kings Heath. Just two monster venues. Like, everyone knows them. Fantastic
two of the best places by a mile. By a mile in Birmingham.
Yeah. Yeah. And then we go on to talk about, obviously, the Dream Team partnership. The whole reason we're doing this podcast, because they've partnered up to the Plough's now doing the food at the Hare and Hounds.
Yeah.
So what? Brilliant. So before we get into that, let's give our sponsors a little shout out.
Yeah, we've got two new sponsors this series.
Yeah.
It's great.
Obviously, this wouldn't be possible without them. So first up, I'd like to thank our first ever sponsors, Birmingham Rum, Hare and Catherine, family run craft rum.
From the Midlands.
From the Midlands.
From down the road.
Just down, literally. We couldn't walk.
I ain't walking that far. You could walk there. I'll drive.
Yeah, just brilliant story, brilliant company. Really love having them on board. Would look fantastic on the shelves at any
bar, anywhere. Or your bar at home. I've got a cupboard, at least 3 of their bottles in.
Yeah, obviously links for that is in the show notes. And our second sponsor is the awesome Easy Food, part of the Easy family. They're here to take on the big boys in the delivery app world. They're on the side of the hospitality businesses. They're here to save you money and make your life easy. No more of the 40% ridiculous fees. Just stupid. Just nice, easy, simple, affordable, flat rates, £1.50. It's a no-brainer.
Yeah, check them out.
Go join Easy Food. So all that said, mate, how's things?
Wicked.
They're keeping good though.
Yeah, it's good, man.
Crazy world. It's good. It's good
mad,
to be here. Good to see you all.
You're looking beautiful.
Where have we been eating, man?
Well, we might as well talk about where the whole episode, Hare and Hounds. They got the food from the Plough now, or some of the food from the Plough, and we've eaten 3 times now. I think I've eaten 3 times now.
Let's face it, if you're going to a gig at the Hare and Hounds, where are you eating beforehand? Right? Really?
I mean, there's good places, really good places in Kings Heath. Incredible, but
you're going to risk missing the gig, are you? You're going to go to the Hare and Hounds.
Yeah, now you can hear it start anyway, so you can just run upstairs.
I don't know what's the best thing, to be honest. I like the Cuban.
I think the Cuban sandwich. The food I've had. I haven't tried. You've had the burger. That was good. That looked great.
The sloppy burger, yeah.
I've had the Cuban twice. The pork. We've shared the chicken one as well.
Yeah.
That was really good. Yeah. I've had the Caesar. So this is a tip. I got this off Laura. Bite Your Brum. Order the Caesar salad with a side of chips, and it's fantastic. It's so nice. Who knew a salad could be nice?
When you ordered salad, I was like, who's going out and ordering salad? What's
in your face? You're like, you ordered salad. I was like, yes.
Yeah, it did come. It looked like the most unhealthy salad I think I've ever seen. There was nothing healthy about it.
It looked like your burger was probably healthier, to be honest. But I tell you, it was delicious. It was so nice.
Yeah, good.
Really good salad. Like, the food there's great. That's just that pork sandwich it's incredible.
Yeah. I don't know if there's not, if you think about it really, Dan, in Kings Heath, where are you going for pub grub? Like,
For pub food, probably nowhere else.
there's nowhere, is there? Definitely recommend try that. Obviously, in this episode, we go on to the plans that they've got as well. They're not stopping with the menu they've got now. This is just a start for them. This is a whole ethos they've brought in, a whole food ethos, and they're going to do Sunday dinners. You're excited about that?
Yeah, the Plough Sunday dinners. Like, you hear people talk about it, but once you've had it, you're like, oh my God.
I've never tried. I need to try them.
It's incredible. I'm not going to say it's the best in the city because there's others that are different that I like, and I know I'm one of these that likes to keep saying the best of this, the best of that, so I'm trying to revert from saying that. But as Sunday dinners that I'm going to pay for go, this one I'm very happy to pay for. It's really nice.
It's at least closer to us as well than Harborne.
Way closer, yeah. We're unfortunate. We live really far from Harborne.
Yeah, we live miles from Harborne. It's ridiculous.
It just shows how big this city is, doesn't it?
Yeah. So yeah, absolutely loved the food there. Love going to a gig.
I just love the place. Everything about the Hare and Hounds. I'm there a lot anyway because I go to a lot of gigs, but I'm so happy they're doing that type of food there now as well. Just grab a Cuban sandwich, pint of intuition from Attic, then hit upstairs for a gig after. Perfect night out for me.
They have some top bands. I mean, we get into it, don't we, in the episode? There's,
you'll see.
Plenty of talk about the bands, and some of the names they've had there are ridiculous.
Yeah, they really are.
So yeah, hope you all enjoy it. Another episode we absolutely love making. We didn't demolish the set on this one. It all went pretty smoothly, touching wood. Like it. If you liked it, subscribe, all of that jazz. I'm really bad at saying that, but you know what to do. The two Adams.
The sort of mid-90s when Medicine Bar came in, there was nothing in Digbeth. I mean, you had the Institute and there was obviously stuff going on. There were nights like Sweat and House of God, but it wasn't a regular kind of haunt for people. You know, there would be events there, but Medicine Bar kind of changed that, and out of Medicine Bar, loads of different things popped up, and then the Rainbow happened and all the things that happened after that. So yeah, the Medicine Bar was definitely the kind of the turning point for Digbeth, and just took people down there, and it started to feel like an alternative place to go out. You know, very much an alternative to what was happening on Broad Street anyway.
Yeah, I remember it was very lax on a lot of the rules as well.
It was very lax. You didn't have to wear sort of shiny shoes to
that
get
was
in.
the nice thing. 'Cause back then it was literally, you had to wear trousers, even jeans was like frowned upon in a lot of places.
Definitely.
Yeah,
I mean, a lot. And even the kind of the house clubs that were popular, sort of Money Pennies and to a lesser degree Wobble, but they all had a kind of a dress policy. I suppose they had a dress policy for a reason, but we were very relaxed at the Medicine Bar, so people used to just, you know, rock up in whatever, really. But at the same time, I'm going to bring him in now. At the same time as the Medicine Bar, there was our rival bar, which was run by this gentleman here called Circa. So that was the kind of 90. Did you open in 95 or 96? I think we opened first, didn't we? We were 95, and then you opened early 96, but then you got the late license. So we used to lock up at 11 or half 11 or maybe 12, and they'd be on till 2. So we'd all just head down there.
Oh, nice.
And it would be that kind of like, you know, one gang coming into another gang's territory.
Everyone gets their flick knives out.
Yeah, no flick knives. But no, it was great.
So was that your first entry, Adam, into hospitality?
Yeah, I suppose so. I left Liverpool to open a record shop in Chester, and then moved to Birmingham and opened a record shop in the Arcadian Centre underneath, or what then became the Green Room. And it was a dance music record shop that had at the side of it a cafe where we sold dodgy sandwiches and Nescafe coffee. It wasn't third wave coffee. We then opened Circo on Holloway Circus, where the Radisson Hotel is now, which was the first place to get a late license, and it was a DJ bar, you know, a music-driven bar. And then we went on to open 52 Degrees North, which was in the Arcadian Centre, which was a kind of an inspired New York. And we then, we opened there. And again, that was food, drink, and music. think you played there.
I used to
And
play at
Krieger
Circa
and
as well.
Dorfmeister played there, and yeah, it was
Loads of people.
it was a great time. Really, we were absolutely terrible. Great with ideas, but absolutely awful at trying to run a business or executing any sort of, I don't know, systems or anything. It was just a car crash, but it was brilliant times. And so I kind of fell into hospitality through music and loved it, or fell in love with it. And then I suppose the rest is history.
He used to be a DJ as well. It does not many people know this. He was a DJ. Like, he tries to hide that past.
DJ Cosmic.
Is that what you went
Was
for,
it?
Cosmic?
When I was very young.
DJ Cosmic.
When I was about 17, so it's a long time ago.
That's why he hides it.
Yeah, it is.
What was your DJ name?
Just my boring old name, Adam Regan. Really, I never really wanted one, but yeah, Adam Regan.
You must have had something. Come on, be honest. It's nice to be honest. Come on, you must have had.
No.
You
There was
must have.
no.
Come on,
There was a nickname.
let yourself go. Be vulnerable.
Dub Feathers. and that nickname came about after a night after 52 degrees north. Actually, me and Dick had been DJing at 52 degrees north, or was it 52? Anyway, we went back to his and ended up taking some mushrooms, and I turned into a Rastafarian who was quite camp, and his name was Dub Feathers, and I, for some reason, just occupied this space for about
It's
2
stuck.
hours. And it became a thing, and we ended up releasing a compilation album, and one of the last track on the album was Cake Maker and Dub Feathers, which was me and DJ Dick. There you go. I haven't used it other than that.
Since
It's going to be used now.
Dub Feathers.
it's not your Instagram name, then.
No.
It's going to be your name in my phone going forward.
Feathers, yeah.
So did you always know each other? Were you mates or?
I think we knew each other from '95, and I always thought he was a nice fella, but we were kind of rivals. And he won't have this, but we were rivals.
I'm a lover, not a fight.
Yeah,
No, isn't it?
there was no animosity, but it was friendly rivalry because he had his record shop while I was at university, so I missed all that. I remember Global Grooves, and I remember what was the night fun. So when I came back and we opened the Medicine Bar, we were kind of we were the sort of the two cool places to go. There wasn't, not apart from there were some good clubs, but there wasn't really a bar scene back then, especially a bar where you can go and listen to music. So we were kind of rivals, but we were friends as well, and we'd always end up in each other's bars, and there was a lot of crossover. I ended up doing a night at Circo for a few years, and 52 degrees north. But yeah, I suppose we didn't really become good friends until after that. We probably became good mates. Probably it was after Medicine Bar, wasn't it? More like when the Plough started.
Yeah, probably, which is 20 years ago.
We've got a lot of mutual friends, so there's a few people that we've both known a long time that were kind of really good friends with both of us. Louis Osborne probably being one of them. The kind of Harborne Edgbaston set that he sort of obviously is the king of these days. I knew a lot of them. I used to drink in places like the Swan in Harborne, and so I knew kind of a lot of that crowd. But yeah, I'd say we kind of got good pals more like sort of probably 2015, 2012.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think for me, I always used to kind of ask him for advice
Yeah.
because although I'm in hospitality, I'm not a hospitality expert, and I've kind of found myself with a venue because I'm a promoter and I love music. But whenever I had a question about anything, I'd always ask him. Whenever he wanted to know anything about music, he'd ask me.
Or his son, Manny. Big ups, Manny.
Or some money.
Was it easier to open pubs in the 90s than it is now?
I suppose so, yeah. I mean, God, a Medicine Bar had been, I think it had been like called Hobbs or something. It was like a kind of wine bar sort of thing. And then I don't think it had done well. And Jonathan and Rob, who had the one in London, and Simon, they just kind of went in and painted it load of mad bright colours and put a sound system in, and started booking a load of kind of cool DJs from Birmingham and beyond, and it seemed to be a lot simpler then. There was certainly a lot less kind of legal requirements.
Yeah.
It didn't seem.
Less regulations.
Knowing what I know now about running a place and knowing what a good manager and a good assistant manager needs to be like and how they need to be kind of running a place, I don't think I did a very good job. So I think it was a lot more lax back then. But they were just very hedonistic kind of times. They weren't that serious, but very enjoyable and formative.
Yeah, I remember going. What's the first time I went to Medicine Bar? I think it was to see DJ Yoda.
So that would have been when it turned into a club in 2000.
Yeah,
so
that would have been
from
the first time
95 till end of 99, it was just a bar. And we used to do events where we'd like either take the water out of the pool or use the art gallery next door and put on all kinds of stuff. But it only really turned into a full-time club from January 2000. And we did the first club night there, I think early January 2000. We did our first Leftfoot night. Leftfoot being the night, which is obviously started off my kind of regular DJ promotion career in Birmingham. And it's the name of my company, Leftfoot Venues Limited. And we still do Leftfoot to this day, 25 years later.
When did you start at the Plough?
Oh God, you're really good with numbers.
Well, you said 20 years the other
Yeah, I think it is about 20 years ago. It's about
2004.
Yeah, and we'd come out of the back of selling off 52 Degrees North because it had gone pear-shaped, having a compulsory purchase order on Circo where they knocked it down and built the Radisson Hotel. And I always saw an opportunity in the little pub that was the Plough, which was absolutely tiny compared to what it is now, with a huge beer garden at the back. And I just saw there was a potential to do something different in Harborne. And as everything I've ever done has been based around my personal life, where I am in my journey. And so when we were doing Circo, I was young, free. When we were doing 52, I thought I was a bit more glamorous. Then we did the Plough, and by that time I think I got young kids. Well, actually, I don't know if I did. No, maybe just before young kids. And I didn't want to go into town as much, but still wanted to go out and be in a great place to listen to great music. At that point, our food was really nothing to shout about at all. We were very much more a drink-led operation, and it worked and it grew, and we put an extension on the back, and it kind of grew again, and then we lost a couple of chefs and then ended up with a really decent chef. And then I ended up thinking there's an opportunity here to really, really go at it. And this was probably about 2008, something like that.
So just after smoking ban, really?
Yeah, smoking ban and credit crunch and all of that kind of thing. And at the time I had 3 other pubs, one based in Stourbridge, one based in Chester. And so I was with a business partner who had been involved in 52 and Circo, and we went our separate ways. And as a result, we're still really good mates to this day. But as I really had to get back involved at the Plough and get really, really hands-on, and I kind of didn't really move from the end of the bar to watch everything that was going on, whether it was helping a lady in with her pram or making sure food was going out from the kitchen at the right time or the right quality, or being on the bar and or jumping on the bar, which now, if you ask any of the staff, they just want me as far away from any of that as possible. I am literally terrible. But I think part of that, being there and being so passionate about wanting to give people a great place and a great time, and then working with some amazing staff, and that, to me, the reason the Plough's so successful is down to the staff. They're just so passionate, and, people have been there for literally over decades, 10, 15 years. Some of the chefs, some of the management team, which is phenomenal in hospitality. And I suppose I'm the figurehead, but it's them that has made this thing work. It's nothing really to do with me other than bimbling around occasionally and getting involved in things I probably shouldn't be. And it's continued to grow. We've extended 3 times, bought the property next door, put some private dining rooms in that didn't work, and we quickly accepted we hadn't got it right. Went again, changed it, moved some more covers downstairs, and we kind of have done pretty much all we can do in terms of space, or the actual space in the place, but we're always trying to evolve it and develop it in terms of the offer, the hospitality, the menu. So it's still a really exciting time for me there, and I absolutely love it.
When do you feel it started getting known as a food venue? Because I've always known it as somewhere like that's great to eat, where it's good to eat, go to Plough Harborne.
God, I don't know. It was probably, we started doing a 2-for-1 burger and a 2-for-1 pizza night. Again, I'm terrible with years or dates, but I think it was probably around 2011, something like that. Something like that, where it was where we were. 2008 was when I really had to get stuck in, and get right back behind the bar. And then it just slowly but surely, everyone kind of energized and went with it. And we just seemed to get a bit of momentum and traction, and it just went. And then it was kind of a bit of an unstoppable machine, or it was relentless, or it still is relentless, but it's almost, is it organized chaos?
It is. I think for me as a customer, I like look at it from a kind of a customer perspective. Obviously, I've been going there ever since he's had it, but it felt like it really clicked when they started just packing it out. It just went from being, oh yeah, some nights you'd go and be busy, and other nights it would quiet, and then suddenly out of the blue, and it was probably about the time you started doing the 2-for-1s on the Monday and Tuesday, but you'd go any night of the week and it would be packed. But it wasn't just packed. This hospitality was brilliant. They always got that right. The staff, like you just mentioned, the staff, for me, they've got the best team in the city, and that's, getting back to why we're here. One of the reasons why we wanted to work with them is they've got such a great team of people. They're all really lovely people, but they're very, very committed and professional. And I think they've just created that environment where people, go and feel nice and feel good about themselves, and it's a nice environment. That's first and foremost what they do, is that hospitality, getting that right with the right team, which is what we're trying to bring in here. I don't think we've over the years, I don't think we've necessarily been bad at that, but we wanted to really, with food coming in, we wanted to really improve that and make it more of a feature. We knew that we were good at putting on the gigs and putting on the club nights, but this was a chance to sort of develop downstairs and make it feel a bit more like the Plough, in the sense that you can go in and you're going to get treated well and nice staff, and you're going to get consistent food and drink offer. And yeah, 2 months in, it seems to be working so far. So yeah.
There's something about 2012, 2013 in Birmingham. Like Digbeth dining started around then. A few other things started around then. And it's like all of a sudden Brummies woke up and thought, we don't have to eat shit food when we go out. And then all of a sudden they wanted more and more. So there was an appetite for it.
I think they're a good example as well of, similar to both of our companies, is that you've got really passionate people involved that had a vision for what they wanted to do, worked really hard at it and developed it and grew that loyalty. That they've got such a brand loyalty with what they do. And Jack and Swinney are good mates, and we work with them quite a bit. And I think they've got a similar ethos to us and to Adam. They just want to, it's not just about money, it's about being good at what you do and having a pride in it. And I think Brummies really respect that. I think you look at the amount of chains that have come and gone from the city. People like Brummies like to see their own doing well. And I think that's a real important part of Birmingham, the independent scene. Big up Digbeth Dining Club, really. They're great at what they do.
Yeah, they're not.
We still have a lot of chains. I don't know why. And especially we have quite a few nice little independent bars and stuff. But as far as big venue pubs like the Plough and Hare and Hounds, they're very chain heavy still. Why do you think that is?
I don't know. I mean, the city centre is so expensive. I'd imagine that's quite restrictive to a lot of people. It's also just got more and more corporate, hasn't it, over the years?
I think the pubcos as well. The pubcos own so many of the big, great looking venues or great positioned venues that it becomes very difficult for an independent to get in. I mean, we're both involved with pubcos. Both the Hare and Hounds and the Plough are owned by pub companies, and we just have leases out of them. And so, although we're able to do whatever we want to do out of them, ultimately they own the freehold, they own the bricks and mortar, and we kind of do what we do within their building. And opening a pub, it's not cheap, it's so expensive to fit everything out, from kitchens to toilets to especially the standard that people expect nowadays. People come out for food, and they we're not cheap, but hopefully we give you a great experience when you do come out. And so the expectation now is that it's got to be good. And I think that is a bit of a barrier to young people or anybody who wants to go in and have a go at something, which is why probably places like Sturchley are working so well, because they're relatively low cost.
Yeah, they're all small. A lot
Yeah.
of places
Yeah,
small
I don't think
and-
trains could get in there because I don't
No.
see anywhere they'd want to move into. They're all
No,
too small.
I mean, apart from the British Oak, everything's really small, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, Attic's probably the next biggest place, but that's really grown out of their love for what they do. It's not a huge site that was there before. They've developed it from nothing, haven't they? But I think that creativity now has gone very much into the kind of smaller. You get to spend hours in Sturchley and not visit all the places now to
Oh,
eat and
you
drink.
need 2 visits
Yeah.
at least to go everywhere you want to go.
It's great.
I was there Friday. I was like, well, I've got a cherry pick now where I want to go.
Yeah, I think it's great. I think because for me, before I had the Hare, I had the Bull's Head in Moseley. So that was 2006, and Moseley was probably coming to the end of its kind of time as a cool place. And I hung in there for another 7 or 8 years, but I just noticed that it was just getting worse and worse, becoming more and more mainstream. The people that were drinking there Friday and Saturday night weren't nice. You're getting a load of groups of lads.
As soon as the junction sort of opened, I think that changed a lot
Yeah,
of stuff.
yeah, and the Weatherspoons didn't help, and it just got rougher and rougher, and you'd get more and more fights, and just not a pleasant atmosphere. So, although I've still got a soft spot for Moseley, the history of Moseley, because I used to drink in a lot of the pubs there when I was sort of in my teens, but I think it's fallen off the map really. Which is then Kings Heath obviously took the mantle on with here and everything that happened around York Road and beyond. A few places like Hop and Scotch opening up as well. It just started to feel like it was more independent and cooler, a bit rough around the edges, admittedly, but definitely cooler than Moseley. And now you've got Sturchley, which has taken up that mantle again, and it's
always
like
the
even
next place,
it's
isn't
like Kings Heath now looking at Sturchley going, wow, you've got so many cool little places. And I love going there, but I don't see it as, I see it like as an extension of this part of Birmingham. I don't see Sturchley as like, oh, it's competition. It's like it's great, it's down the road.
Yeah, it's not far at all,
you can walk there in 25 minutes and be in an amazing bar or brewery or restaurant. So I think the suburbs have really come into their own, especially since COVID, and I think they'll get stronger and stronger. Harborne has had a great sort of food and drink scene for a long time. Edgbaston has developed some places. People would rather stay in the suburbs or visit the suburbs now than go into town.
Yeah, I think that's, other than Digbeth, I think are mainly in the suburbs.
I don't want to get too negative, but obviously it'd be hard to do a podcast with 2 pub owners and not talk about some of the struggles that are obviously going to be happening with cost of living for everyone. And obviously everyone's moaning about their energy prices, but for you guys, jeez, I couldn't even imagine how bad it would be.
Energy was the big one after COVID. I mean, our bills went from sort of £2,500-3,000 a month to sort of £9,000 a month.
Wow.
And then you throw in everything else, like wages have just gone up by 9%, which I think both Adam and I would agree that it was the right thing to do, and people's wages needed to go up. But the cost implication of that for businesses like ours, and even more so for the Plough, is huge. And should small business owners be shouldering that cost, or should it be the government handing back some money in, whether it be a VAT cut or something else to kind of incentivize people? Because really that's just coming off your bottom line. I mean, we're just about to have to put our prices up again, probably for the 3rd time since the end of COVID. and it's incredibly expensive to go out and drink now. But if you don't do it, you won't be here. You know, we're in that position where we're getting squeezed left, right, and centre. And if you don't put your prices up, you can't continue. You can't pay everybody's wages. You can't continue to do what you do. And with here as well, we've got a lot of extra costs in terms of we make sure that we've got, you know, excellent production. So we spend, you know, tens of thousands of pounds. Like the sound system behind you was like 30 grand, and it's in a room for 250 people. You're constantly upgrading desks, microphones, DJ equipment. It's all tens of thousands of pounds. But if we didn't do it, we wouldn't get the caliber of artists that we get. And it would soon fall off the touring circuit, and it would just become another pub in the suburbs with a function room. So you have to invest to keep competing, and also just to keep people feeling like it is the place to kind of come and play in the city.
Adam, you had the cost of food obviously going up.
The cost of food, as Adam said, the cost of energy. Every pub, every restaurant, every hospitality venue is feeling the same challenges. And since COVID, you know, it's become much, much harder to make a living. But I think people who are really passionate about the industry, which I know both Adam and I are, you know, we're not in it necessarily just purely for money. We're in it to love giving people a great time, whether that's a great gig or a great club night or a great meal or a great family celebration or something that people walk away with a smile on their face and you feel a sense of pride for you and your team. So it's not just all about the money, but obviously we've got to make the books balance. And I think you read it time and time again. It's, you know, hospitality's just been squeezed and squeezed and squeezed since COVID, if not slightly before that. So
I think there's going to be a lot more closures over the next year. I think we're already seeing it. I mean, grassroots music venues are falling rapidly. There's obviously a huge sort of national campaign at the moment to try and highlight what's happening, and various schemes being talked about, like levies on the big venues, ticket levies to get to pay for the grassroots music scene. But you've got all those challenges from the music element, but then you've got the challenges from the hospitality element as well. And between them, some days you just think, how are we going to make money in the next year? You're literally looking at it thinking, how are we going to make money? We can't keep putting everything up and keep adding ticket price. So it is difficult, but I feel like we're in a strong position because we've been here for so long, because people trust us, and it's established. I wouldn't like to be trying to open a new venue.
I was going to say, would you go into it today if you hadn't already done it?
No chance. I mean, there's 100 things I'd do before running a music venue now, but I wouldn't really know what else to do. So, I mean, there was a time during COVID when I thought that was it. You know, I didn't think we were going to survive before we got the Cultural Recovery Fund, which was the grant that the music venues got. I genuinely didn't know whether we were going to survive. And I remember waking up one morning, talking to Alex, my partner, and I was just like, what am I going to do? You know, I've literally gone from being a DJ to a promoter to running a music venue, and I don't know what I could do. And she was like, oh, you'll be all right. You could do lecturing or something. I'm like, I don't want to do that. I'm not. That's not for me. So there has been times where I've just thought, I've just got to make it work. And that's quite a good pressure to have. It's like, if you don't make it work, what the hell are you going to do? So I think that's the thing about the non-funded world that we both operate in. You know, there's a lot of arts funding that's available, and a lot of venues and promoters and events get a lot of funding, and that helps them stay afloat and do what they need to do. But we have come from the commercial side of things, so we don't really get any funding. But it does make you, I suppose, a bit more of a hustler, in the sense that you've got to make it work. You know, I'm not saying we hustler in a bad sense. I'm just saying you have to make things work. You have to make shows work. You can't be just hemorrhaging money. You have to make good decisions, and it just makes you a better business person, really. But I couldn't imagine doing anything else, really.
What could the government do to help?
They could cut VAT for hospitality and music venues.
People don't realise about VAT, do they? So
I mean, that's the thing. It's like we did get a cut during COVID or after COVID finished? I think it went down to 5% for a while, then it went to 12.5%, and it made a huge difference.
Because mostly food, I don't know, alcohol's not VAT free though, is it?
No, it's 20%. So if you pay £6 for a pint, 20% of that straight away gone in VAT.
But obviously with food, you can't claim anything back because food's zero VAT. So
No.
mostly, so I work in construction as a day job, and my boss can claim for materials, claim everything. So when the VAT man comes to him and says, right, you've had this many jobs, they paid you this much VAT, you owe me this much. He can turn around and say, hang on, but I've spent this much on materials, this much on that. So I've spent this much on VAT. So actually you owe me. But somebody who does food can't do that. Or just food. I mean,
can't, but what the VAT man will say is, you've turned over £6 on a pint, and I'm taking 20% of that straight off you. So that's gone straight away. So whatever people see, whatever the price, and although you can't claim VAT back on food, you pay it on food.
Yeah.
So if you,
that's what I mean.
yeah. So,
and it's not on profit either. I'm taking.
I'm taking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's ridiculous.
Yeah, I think that's the big one. A lot of people have been campaigning for is a reduction in VAT. Obviously, a lot of us have had a rates reduction since COVID, but that's due to kick back in full rates next year, which automatically puts another 45 grand on our costs for the year.
Wow.
So yeah, there's a lot of things that could be done. I think one of the things for me is I was fortunate enough to do a bit of kind of touring as a DJ in Europe and see how things are run in Germany, in Switzerland, and Austria, and France. And the arts and the clubs and the music is very well funded. And it's seen, I think in this country, especially with the people we've got in government at the moment, they don't necessarily see grassroots music and electronic music as being culturally important. They'll fund orchestras and ballets, but they don't seem to want to fund music venues like this that will play indie music or reggae or jazz.
They
or
just want to fund what
drum
they
and
want to
bass,
fucking watch, don't they?
Yeah, they just don't see that as important. But they're clearly one of the things that lockdown really taught me was how important, and it humbled me really. It made me realise how important this venue is to so many people, and that's not because of me. That's because of the place and everything that goes on, and all the people that contribute to making it a community space and a place where people go and enjoy themselves. And I don't think the government put enough value in that. If Labour get in, you'd imagine they would have more of a leaning towards kind of looking after places like this. But yeah, the Tories don't really care.
No. It's hard to judge with Labour as well at the moment, what they're going to do.
Yeah, you'd like to think traditionally they've always put more kind of importance on it, but we will see. But yeah, I just think we need to see a change in this country.
I think everyone
that'd
needs
be
a
lovely.
change now. Yeah. So we asked Adam how he got the Plough, but we never asked you how you got the Hare and Hounds. How did you come across
the Hare and
how
Hounds?
did this come about, yeah?
So I was running the Bull's Head in Moseley down the road, and I had I'd been involved in a music festival with a couple of guys called Nick and Tat, and they said, "Oh, have you seen that the Hare and Hounds is on the market? They're looking to." I think it had been a managed house, so it was brewery run with a manager, and they were wanting to put it on the market as a freehold, as a leasehold. And obviously, I went to school in Kings Heath anyway, and I knew the history with UB40, and I knew that it had been a gig. I'd been to a few gigs here, and they were like, "What do you think? Do you think it's something that we could look at?" And I was like, Kings Heath, it's not Moseley, is it? It's not, it's a bit rough around the edges. And Hare and Hounds has been a bit of a shithole for a long time.
You say about UB40 and that, but that was
A
long
time
before that.
Yeah. So from the sort of 70s through the 80s, 90s, it was probably a kind of a good place to come for gigs. And then it sort of towards the end of the 90s, early noughties, it had just become a badly run brewery pub. This room had carpet in it, carpet downstairs, fruit machines. It was pre-smoking ban, so it was just full of smoke, TVs with the racing. It was a bit like a Wetherspoons, really. So anyway, they said, "What do you think? Let's go and have a look." So we came and had a look, and I was like, "Fucking yeah!" It's you can see, because you could still see the tiles and downstairs, and all the history. Knew it was grade 2 listed and whatever, but it was a big ask. It was like, are we going to be able to do what we want to do with this venue? So anyway, we put business plan together, and yeah, we got it. And yeah, spent a couple of $100,000 on doing it up, and started putting on gigs. But it probably took about a year and a half, 2 years to really get going. And then it's kind of developed ever since, really, once you get it on the map as a touring venue. I was putting in DJs that I had relationships with from the past anyway, so they would, I was getting your Giles Petersons and your Norman Jays to come and play here, Mr. Scruff and all those kind of people. But I think it's once it got established as a live music touring venue, that's when it started to really go up a gear, and that's when we developed a second venue as well, because that was just a junk room. So that room next door. So this was always a venue, and venue 2 was just a junk room, and I accidentally double booked this room. And thought, oh God, what am I going to do? And it was for Lisa as well from Supersonic, who's like someone I've known for a long time from the Custard Factory. I was like, Lisa, I've double booked. And she was like, right, okay. And then Warren from Urban Audio, who does all our PA, was like, why don't you just clear that junk room out and put PA in there, some lights? So we spent a couple of days just it was full of like old Guinness hats and sort of like Christmas decorations and boxes full of shit and old glasses and stuff. We cleared it out, put a sound system in, a few lights. I sent that to the Plough, and Lisa did the gig, and it went really, really well. And she was like, "It's great. It's a really good room." Okay, well, maybe we should turn it into another room. And yeah, I think 2 months later we had it open as venue 2, and that was when it really started to fly, because we could put 2 gigs on at once and totally different crowd, and it just opened us up to a whole different way of doing things, and started making some money finally.
You've had some acts go on to do big things, haven't you? It must be nice when you get someone in quite small and then they go on to go massive.
Lots, really. I mean, there's been so many over the years, but the one that people always kind of talk about is Ed Sheeran, purely because he's obviously one of the biggest names in the world now. But the first time he played here was in this room, and he was opening act at a poetry night. And the girl, Jodie Ambickley, who was a friend of mine, she was working here. She did this poetry night, and she knew him from seeing in London. He used to play at poetry nights. She said, I've got this lad coming up from London. He's pretty good, you'll like him. And he went on and he played, and we were like, yeah, he's pretty good. He's pretty good. Had a drink with him at the bar afterwards. I think he got 50 quid. I think he either slept on her sofa or got the train or coach back that night. And yeah, I can't believe that I didn't think, wow, maybe I should be your manager. But yeah, I was here with a couple of friends with me that night, and we were like, yeah, he's got potential, that lad. And then the next time he came back, he played in venue 2 and sold it out, and his guitar, the pickup on his guitar failed, and he just did an acoustic gig standing on a stool in the middle of venue 2. And it's become quite a famous video, because whenever he now plays an arena or wherever in Birmingham, he's like, was anyone at the Hare and Hounds? And then you'll get the odd sort of 3 people in the audience. But yeah, him, Lizzo, but bizarrely, Lizzo played here.
Weird.
I can't even remember when it was, but she was supporting Harmar Superstar. But yeah, loads of kind of like bands coming, like Idols and, people like that come through here, and, big DJs. It was great to get people like Sasha and Laurent Garnier playing here, like 2 kind of like 90s sort of house music legends.
Yeah.
But yeah, so many bands, different styles. And then you get people like Chrissy Hind, who last year came and did a little gig here just because she wanted to do a tour of small venues. But yeah, whenever we do those gigs, they always sell out in like a second. They go on sale, and then everyone's like, well, I can't get a ticket. And it's like, well, that's because there's 10,000 people trying to get 250 tickets. But yeah, there's been a lot of people. But yeah, it's amazing really who's come through over the years.
So you never used to do food? So obviously you had Brad, but before Brad?
No, we didn't do food before then for a long time. So when we first opened, we didn't do food. And then this is how I met Matt Beck, who is my business partner. Him and another guy called Carl Finn, who I don't know whether you know. They started a thing called the Soul Food Project. And that must have been in 2009 or something like that, 2008. And they took over the kitchen here, and they were doing like sort of jambalayas and sort of like New Orleans inspired food. And yeah, they were quite comical as a duo. we didn't have a proper kitchen. We had like literally a domestic oven and like a normal sink. And God knows how they got it past health and safety. But yeah, they just did that, and that was quite a nice little vibe. I mean, they were very kind of enthusiastic and had probably more kind of led by the idea of it than actually making any money from it. But that's how I met Matt. He was doing This Is Tomorrow shows here. He did a couple here, but he'd been doing them at like the Victoria and the Island Bar and places like that. And I just really liked him and clicked with him. And as this started to get busier, I needed someone to help me with the programming. So Matt came on board like 25 hours a week, I think, initially, and then went full time. And then I think a couple of years later, I asked him if he wanted to be a partner in the business. So now Matt and I are the two shareholders in the business. And he's, without a doubt, the driving force behind the excellent program here. You know, he is an amazing programmer and very, very patient guy. And you have to be patient to deal with DJ agents and band agents and me, and me. But yeah, but not just Matt. Now we've just got a really good team of people that are involved in what we do with the shows. Marta, who does all our social media, and Ian Forster, who's our production manager, Tim Mobbs, Chris. You know, there's a good team in the office that are really passionate about music. So yeah, it's kind of developed into this bit of a monster, really, in terms of the amount of shows that we get. Because at times it's just totally, we just can't cope with how much is going on. Because we don't just do shows here, we do a lot of stuff at other venues as well. So I think we did, I can't remember what Matt said, but I think we did something with like 160 shows last year that we were responsible for ourselves, on top of running a venue. So it was, when it's heavy, it gets really heavy, but enjoyable. But yeah, very, very kind of stressful as well when you've got tens of thousands of pounds of risk. Because essentially you're gambling every time you put on a show. You're putting money, you're putting on a bet, aren't you? You know, that band might sell tickets and they might not. But thankfully we win more than we lose.
So how did the partnership come about? The food partnership?
Sunday lunch, probably. We've talked about it loads of times.
We talked about it on and off for a few years, and then flirted, yeah. And as I said, Adam was always like my go-to kind of industry advice person. And I never thought in a million years that he'd want to do anything here, because they had such a beast of a business over in Harborne, and I knew how much time that took up and what a massive team they had. But when, obviously we worked with Brad for a while, and then Brad moved on to do other things, we were kind of thinking about what to do next and what the right direction was. And we just started chatting, and I didn't think for a minute he would take it seriously, but next thing I know, he's doing a presentation with a whiteboard.
Outrageous.
And he's got his A players. He's got James over and Dom over, and I'm like, oh my God, he's literally bringing the A team over for a chat. And yeah, and he railroaded me into it.
That scared you.
It did scare me, but I think we started talking. It was just like, how are we going to make this work? What's the best way of doing it? And you know, we can't do everything that you do at the Plough here, and so we had to work out which dishes would work and how we would do it. We obviously already had the kitchens built from when Brad was here, but yeah, it just became a sort of an ongoing project between the two of us, really. And I think our partners were probably starting to think that we were spending more time talking to each other than we were them. But you know, that's, both of us are really, really passionate about what we do, so we were kind of instantly sort of, right, okay, well, how's this going to work? Let's see how this is going to work. But it's been an absolute joy. You know, it's changed the way we look at so many different things, to the point where now they're not just involved in the food. We brought them in on the whole operational side of things. So we've got a general manager, Jake, who is part of the Plough Team, who's that link between the two businesses. So gradually we're kind of starting to look at things through the Plough's eyes, and it's painful at times because made me realise I didn't really know what I was doing. But it's great. It's been great. I suppose for the Plough coming here, it's bringing them into a different environment. It's bringing them to a whole different group of people that are coming to gigs. Adam's massively into music anyway, and he was here coming to gigs anyway. So it's kind of, it's a passion for them. But for us, it's like, it's bringing in people that are really, really kind of experienced. And it's taken that heat off me, who wasn't that experienced, but was having to kind of do it. And the team, our team here, have really embraced it. So, yeah, it's been really positive so far.
As I'd said it, we've been mates for years. There's always a danger working with friends. There's always a worry, and we talked about that. And both of us are relatively chilled out people. And so, you know, you'd never want to fall out with someone because we get it wrong or over anything to do with working together. And we felt that that wasn't going to be a problem. I've always loved this venue. I've always loved what I'd put on in terms of the direction of the music. As I said, I've been so involved in music, whether it's selling it through the record shop or whatever. And so it just seemed like a perfect opportunity for me to get involved in doing something that I love doing anyway. And that's where, I suppose, in life you get the most passion, isn't it? If you're doing something you love with people that you love, it's pretty easy. It's not really. No, sorry.
Oh, that was a nice little bro moment, wasn't it?
I like that.
I love you too, mate.
Let me have a moment. I can show my vulnerability. That's the difference between you two of us. You're so bold and brash all the time. So, so what, you know, working in a venue that's so, I don't know, iconic. It's, you know, it's a great venue. And the number of times I've been here with my friends to party and what have you, it's been brilliant. And so to then get involved in the food and get involved in working together with the team here who are so great anyway, it just seemed like a no-brainer. It just seemed like this is just stupid not to. And so, you know, it's going to take time. It's going to take time. It's going to take a good year or so, but we've got some amazing plans to develop the food, to extend the hours, to, you know, really, really make this place not just a venue for music and having a drink, but a great place to come and listen to music, have a drink and have great hospitality, great food, you know, whether that's all the way through the day, having a great Sunday lunch eventually, you know, having a great, coming here and going to a gig and then coming here the following day with a bit of a hangover, having a great breakfast, you know. So we've got loads of plans, and I think it is going to take time, but I think between all of us, the team that we've all got working together, it just feels really positive.
I don't think you could have asked for a better kind of bringing together of two very different camps. That it's just gone really, really smoothly, and I think that, you know, that a lot of that stems from the fact that me and Adam get on so well, and we're never going to argue or fall out about stuff. You know, we'll pull each other up on stuff, but I think once you've got that kind of trust with somebody, you trust each other to do what you're good at. And also, mistakes are going to be made. You don't beat people up about it. You just move on. You try and find a new direction to fix that problem. And I think that's how it feels. You know, it just feels very natural. I think this place over the next couple of years is going to evolve in lots of positive ways. And I think we'll end up working together outside of here as well. You know, there's already plans to do that. You know, he's got a vision to take over Birmingham, this man. He hasn't really. I'm only joking.
He's so bad at twisting my words.
What I meant by that is he's very driven, and it's not just about what he does at the Plough or what he does here. You know, there's some very exciting plans to do stuff on a larger scale in Birmingham and work together. So yeah, watch this space, as they say.
We both ate here last Friday. Loved it. Thursday, yeah.
Yeah. Thursday.
What's your favourite thing on the menu?
Sloppy Joe.
I just can't. Do you know what? I've just started. I think I had about 6 in the first 2 weeks, and I started to feel like, have I got an issue with this? Like, have I got a sloppy Joe problem? Do you know what? I like it all. It depends what mood you're in, really. But I mean, the other day we just had some of the fries with some chicken wings. It was just quite nice to have something that was just a bit different to what I usually have. But yeah, I think the burgers have gone down really well. I think there wasn't really that much on offer around in Kings Heath in terms of a good quality burger. And I think obviously you've got OPM, Sturchley, and there's a few other places around there, but there wasn't, and I'm hoping I'm not offending anyone now, but I don't really think, you've got quite a few like crappy takeaway sort of burger places around here, but there wasn't somewhere you could go and have a really good quality burger. And so I think people have really bought into that. The Cuban sandwiches people absolutely love. They're so tasty.
That's what we had. It was incredible.
They're real winners. But Dom, the head chef from the Plough, obviously having him over here and helping set everything up has been great because he's just a machine, isn't he? He's like military operation in terms of how he does stuff, but he's just got this real way of kind of like making things work and being very organised and very professional. Same with James Thewlis, who is the GM at the Plough. He's been very much involved as well. So it feels like we've just had the whole A team from Sarah as well, Adam's wife. She's been over making it all look beautiful with the plants and adding loads of nice touches. So we've been seriously ploughed.
That sounds so wrong.
It does.
That sounds so wrong, but it sounds
feels really
so right.
wrong. It sounds so wrong, but it feels so right. There's she finishing.
That's definitely a great place to end. We do just finish with Carl, just as a couple of light questions, just a good way to finish the podcast. So just general.
Just little stupid questions.
Anything about football?
No.
That's all right.
Not
I'm
yet.
a Blues fan, so I don't like to.
I'm a Blues fan, so
yeah.
That's why I don't bring up football.
Yeah, exactly.
What's your favourite movie?
Anchorman.
That's a great one. That's a good
Donnie
choice.
Darko.
That's another good one. You love that film, don't you?
Yeah,
Just put
that's
his
one of my
microphone
favourites.
I love Donnie Darko.
Anything dark and a bit gothic.
Yeah,
That's
me
great.
too. He just
The
likes the
Crow.
silly, silly
But
film.
the Anchorman, everyone loves the Anchorman.
No, I don't like
No.
it. No. Well, I don't like it because he
Tries to be
likes
too
it so
cool.
much.
He tries to be too cool. Oh, I can't like that.
Isn't it amazing how bad the second one was, though?
Oh, yeah,
Like, I don't understand how that is so wrong compared to the first one. It's insane. What's your favourite TV show?
Sopranos, without a doubt. But I think Succession has really kind of like upped the game in terms of like recent television. Succession was incredible.
Yeah, it was very
Incredible.
good, wasn't it? I really enjoyed that.
But yeah, Sopranos has to be the all-time number one, I think.
That's a good one.
I'm struggling here because I don't really watch TV.
Vicar of
that's
Dibley,
fair.
he likes.
No, Swap Shop.
Vicar of Dibley. And what's the other one you like? Derry Girls.
No, Songs of Praise.
Songs of Praise, yeah. Anything Christian related.
Either way. Here's a good one. Favourite band or DJ or artist?
DJ Giles Peterson, I'd have to say, just because he's been such a massive influence on my life.
Yeah.
Artist, Joni Mitchell. I love her and I've always loved her music. I think she's probably my favourite all-time artist.
That's a good answer.
Very similar. Giles, amazing DJ, just been phenomenal. Probably Stevie Wonder.
Well, I could have said Stevie would have been in my top three.
Yeah.
Shaka Khan as well.
Yeah. We're very similar on music.
We are, yeah. You don't like Joni Mitchell, though. You think it's whiny folk, don't you?
No, it's not that I don't like her.
What's your favourite big fast food chain,
I don't really.
if at all?
I don't think I really eat. I haven't had a McDonald's for 20 years plus.
Pret?
I don't like
Pret?
Pret, yeah. Pret, would that be classed as a big food chain? Pret's all right.
Big chain, yeah, it's a
That's
chain,
all
yeah,
right.
you can have that.
Five Guys, any of that.
I'll give you Five Guys. Five Guys make a good burger, to be fair.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, I'll give you Five Guys.
Probably go Leon or Boots.
Boots meal deal.
Yeah,
You can tell he's
Boots
been
meal
in
deal.
Kings Heath.
Oh God, the meal deal's really poor over there.
It's
isn't it?
shocking, mate.
It's really bad. They've got a sandwich.
Yeah, it's not Harborne's meal deals.
Well,
In Harborne, they've got like a salad counter in Boots, haven't they?
sushi.
Sushi counter, yeah.
What's your favourite restaurant in Birmingham?
Oh man, that's really difficult because a few of my mates own really good restaurants, and I don't want to.
You can skip that
I'll
one
go
if you don't want.
Tropea.
That's a great answer.
Tropea in Harborne is amazing. Absolutely
It is
fantastic.
good.
Tropea is
Yeah,
amazing.
I'm perfectly
too
happy with that
similar.
answer.
Tropea is amazing.
Just
Amazing.
Stop copying.
But I'm going to go because he's an old pal with Eat Vietnam.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's another one. Yeah, if I'm top five, I think we'd put all-time restaurants in Birmingham. I think they'd be in our top five. as
Can
well.
Eat. Dominic Canning.
There's so many servers.
I think we're really lucky
Dom's
with food,
amazing.
aren't we? It's one area I think we've absolutely nailed in Birmingham.
Early
It's
Bird
food.
is great down the road. Marmaris is the best takeaway.
It's good, isn't it?
Marmaris, my God, that's
Them giant trays, and they're
It's just-
rammed as well.
brilliant. It's just brilliant. I love it. But there's some great places like on York Road. I know we're waffling now, but I mean, Cobaco. My God, been there
Yeah.
a bit recently. I was just so impressed. But then you've got
Miss Jones. Then we sound like
Cobaco.
Rigby.
Rigby. You're going off track now, mate.
Sorry.
I don't know what you're talking. You're,
Well, they can
you're
edit
making
this.
you're
They can
making
edit this.
references to 70s TV.
I know.
Yeah, yeah,
We
yeah.
can keep rising
Does
down.
anyone-
That's no
Yeah,
problem.
right. They sound a bit like, oh my God, Miss Jones.
But no, there's so many we could mention. But I'm going to give a big shout out to Spice Merchant because Abid is the king of Kings Heath, and if you've ever been in there,
I've-
he's
that's why I
the
haven't been to
best
this one.
host and the best man. He's my favourite man in Kings Heath in a
Awesome.
restaurant.
What's your favourite food destination in the world other than Birmingham?
Never been, but I'd love to go to India. Love to go to India.
I know a few people that go just for the food to eat
Never
there.
been, but that would be probably.
Yeah, I'm trying to think.
Did you watch Feed Phil? Did you watch somebody Feed Phil on
Yeah,
Netflix?
yeah.
Did you see he went to Mumbai?
Yeah, amazing.
Brilliant.
Amazing.
Absolutely brilliant.
It's on the new series.
Hmm.
Yeah, I haven't watched that one yet.
I've had some incredible meals in Ibiza, oddly enough.
Yeah.
But in Ibiza town, and there used to be some amazing little restaurants. I just love Mediterranean food. So yeah, I'm going to say Ibiza.
Nice.
First time.
Yeah, you're the first one said Ibiza, I
Yeah.
think. I love that.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Well done.
awesome. Happy?
Yeah, thank you.
Wicked.
Thank
Thank you
you.
very much,
Yeah,
guys.
thank you both for coming on. Been a part of it.
Cheers.
Pleasure. It wasn't that bad.
So there it is. Third episode
was.
down, or fourth, depends how you look at it. Probably third.
Yeah, we'll go with third.
Third one down. Third proper episode down.
Good, isn't it? It's going well.
It's going all right. Hope you're loving it, and if you are, obviously like, subscribe. Every time I say that, I can think of my daughter on YouTube. Like and subscribe.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, if you do, or just tell a friend. That'd be even better. Let's
Yeah.
do things in real life. Tell a friend in real life. Hopefully they come and watch or listen. Obviously, wherever you get your podcast hug, you can do that. Massive thank you to the two Adams for inviting us down to the Hare and Hounds. I could listen to them talk all day. It was brilliant.
Yeah, it was very funny.
Yeah. Obviously, thanks again to our sponsors, Burning Bar and Rum, our first ever sponsor. Locally made, family run business. Massive thank you to Easy Food. Obviously, go save some money. Links for both of them will be in our show notes. Massive episode for you next week. I should have told you before I did that.
I can't wait to see which one it is. I'm excited.
Massive episode next week. Chef Lou.
Yes.
We travel to Nottingham,
Brilliant.
little road trip.
Yeah, on the road.
Yeah.
On the road again.
No introductions needed. You know Chef Lou.
Yep,
Great British menu.
you'll find out.
Master Chef. See you all next week.
See you later.